This podcast is part of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network. Go to bigheadsmedia.com for more great podcasts.
The Forest Ramble Mini Match Report.
A slightly different match report today, as our Stephen joined the good folk at Love Sport Radio.
It was, a frustrating performance. I think the referee as well made it a much more difficult game.
What did he do? What did he do, Stephen?
He was pretty poor for both teams,
to
be honest. It's very easy to be biased if you're having decisions go against you, but there were times where he didn't have great control of the game. And there were a couple of incidents where Forest players were brought down just outside the box and nothing was given. So Forest could have had some dangerous positions there. But overall, it was just a poor performance.
Yeah, well, that's very odd.
Referee
Right. I was going to say, I thought you were going to attribute that to Forest for a minute, but you reeled that back professionally. So poor performance by the referee. But I mean, Forest have been doing really, really well this season. I've got a very good mate of mine's a Forest fan. He's like, I haven't seen him quite this excited for a while, and I think genuine hopes of getting into the playoffs or even better. I mean, I speak as a Chelsea fan, but I would love to see Forest back in the Premier League. As far as I'm concerned, you're a Premier League club, and I miss playing sides like you. Like Sheffield Wednesday's another side that I miss from the old days that I think should be back in the Premier League. So, do you think you've got a chance this season, Stephen?
I think if you look at the teams that we've played so far, all of those teams have been or are in the top 12, and when we all looked at the fixture list before the season started, Forest fans, we were sort of fearing the worst because you had Leeds in there, you had Fulham away in there, West Brom, and then Swansea away, who were top when we played them. But apart from losing to West Brom on the opening day, we've gone to Fulham and won, gone to Swansea and won, gone on a 10-match unbeaten streak. So it's a really strong start in the face of some tough fixtures. So on the basis of that, there's plenty to be optimistic about.
I think it's interesting the appointment of Lamouchi is a bit of a departure for Forest because there has been a degree of a managerial merry-go-round, but it's a lot of the same old, candidates, people who've got a link to the club and so on. It's refreshing to see them take, I wouldn't say a gamble, but perhaps bringing someone in with no Premier League or Championship experience, no experience of English football, yet with a fantastic pedigree as a player and a manager abroad. So, what's he done so differently, and is it really the refreshing change it looks like from the outside?
I think he's come in and done a very good job so far. He came in after pre-season started, so fairly late in terms of getting a new manager in, getting the players together and trying to get his ideas across. But in the time he's had in the job, he's done that. All the players are very clear on what their roles are in the team. There's a good mix of attacking football, but also defensive strength. He's made the team more competitive in games throughout. If we're going behind in games, more often than not, we're fighting back and we're rescuing points from losing positions. Didn't happen today, but on another day we would have scored a couple of goals because we did create chances in the second half. And that's one thing that you are seeing from this Forest team. There's a lot of resolve in there, and when the backs are against the wall, they more than often will come up with a response. And the way that he's approached the players, they seem very clear on what their jobs are in the team. Players like Ben Watson, who were at the club already and who didn't look to have much of a future, he looks like a completely different player now. He's one of the first on the team sheet. So it's little things like that where he's getting so much out of these players already, and it seems like they're really taking to him and his ideas.
Brilliant.
Now, Stephen, you've got Hull coming up next, followed by a couple of home games, basically, and coming up on this. I bet you're looking forward to this one. Saturday, the 9th of November, the big derby for you guys against, no pun intended, Derby. So you've got, as I said, a couple of games to kind of get back on track before you have that crunch derby. Do you expect Forest to bounce back quickly?
I see no reason why this team wouldn't, and I think, judging by what Sabri Lamouchi said post-match today, he wasn't very happy with the performance. Obviously, He's also mentioned that maybe the team selection might not have quite been right for the game, but he strikes me as a sort of manager who will learn from that sort of thing and put it right quickly. So I think it comes back to that resolve and that real competitiveness that's in this team now. They're going to be keen to go out against Hull in midweek and come out with a win. So those games coming up, yes, they are big games, and I'm glad that we've got such a quick turnaround between now and Hull, where we can just forget about Wigan and hopefully get 3 points on the board again.
Yeah, not to mention that Hull are in 19th and Reading are in 20th. So, you'd be expecting to win both of those games, particularly at home. Yeah,
you would think so. Yeah, that's got to be the aim. And the good example of that is playing Barnsley a few weeks ago, who've also had a poor start to the season. But we've found a way of putting those teams away, those teams who were near the bottom of the league. That's something that Forest have struggled with as well in recent seasons. But they've managed to find a way of winning those games, and I think they'll do the same against Hull and Reading.
I'm interested by the form of Lewis Grabban, because he's one of those players that I've always thought, is he going to make it in the Premier League? And every time he gets a chance, he doesn't seem to quite get the run. But when he does get a run, it's nearly always been in the Championship. But he is a consistent goal scorer, and he's a real threat. He's a real handful. How's he been playing this season?
He's been very good. He's been involved in terms of scoring goals, but also setting them up. And I think today was a good example of where we saw the qualities that he brings to this team. We started with Rafa Mir up front, who did okay, but he had a chance in the second half and fluffed it. He was taken off around the hour mark. Grabban comes on, and all of a sudden, his presence up front, he's running, and his use of the ball as well, and bringing other players into play was really good. And he's got that all-round aspect to his game where, in the box, if the ball falls to him, he'll put it away and score a goal. But he's also very good at linking the play and just being a real presence up there for the team. So he's been in great form this season, and today has shown that we can't rely on him. We probably do need more options up front, but it also shows today that we are a much better team when Grabban is in there.